to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson and Sue Broome here for messages from your loved ones. So the way that we do this is that Sue has created a beautiful deck of cards channeled to her, and you share with us in Facebook, in the chat, if there's somebody that you would like to hear from that you have loved and lost, somebody who has transitioned, and we'll just key into that energy and we'll share with you what we're seeing. So we're glad that you're here. Sue, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you too. And I am sharing out. We'll see. There. Okay.
And I'm going to send a message out.
Facebook has been weird lately, so I don't know why, but that's okay. I did share it to mine.
Okay.
And hopefully my outside chimes aren't too loud, but I have windows open today because it's beautiful, so.
Okay. Let me just double check to make sure that on Facebook that showed up. We don't usually have quiet time, but we're having quiet time here and messages from your loved ones.
Well, somebody yesterday, I was telling them that we'll be on, and I said, and it's on a special time. It's at a different time than normal. So I was telling her, and she goes, "Oh yeah, because I really need a message." And I said, "Well, this is for you, but this is for everybody."
Yeah.
Said, something that you could try is, as you're drifting off to sleep, ask your loved one. In this case, it was her mother. So ask your loved one to send you a dream, and just imagine that as you're drifting off to sleep. And then see what comes up over the next few days.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a minute, Sue, while we're waiting for friends to show up. There's a lot going on with folks transitioning these days. And we did a silent meditation on Sunday, Terry Angel and I, and in this meditation, it was fascinating because we were taken to what they've taught me they call the river of life. And the river of life, we're all in it. Any of us that are alive in the 3D are in this river of life. And I don't think it's water. To me, it's like life force coming through. We're just sort of there. And what I have seen is that as folks are preparing to transition, I have seen them in the river of life, maybe laying down, being prepared by the divine mother's handmaidens, getting clearing, getting healing. And to me, that healing was not in the physical realm. It was like the emotional and the spiritual healing, and really the preparation for the transition. And with a dear loved one, I saw that they started that process about 6 months ahead of when she passed, which was fascinating for me to think that while she was trying so hard to continue living, they were already helping prepare her for the transition. So it was just fascinating to watch. And then I remember a day or two, well, it's probably a couple days before she passed, I checked in with her energy and I saw her at the river of life. And she was in the river, and then she got out and sat on the bank looking back at the river of life, and she was watching her kids in the river of life, and they were splashing and laughing and playing and having a great time. And then I saw she kind of shrugged her shoulders and got back in the river. And then she literally was gone from us in about a week. So it's just so interesting to watch people's preparation. So Terry and I went into this meditation on Sunday, and there we were shown the river of life again. And we were in the river of life. I saw another loved one in there, and they showed me talking with someone in there, and her and Terry talking with someone in there. And that is the work that we want to be doing, is supporting folks as they are preparing to transition. And I was watching and seeing a lot of folks stepping out of the river of life. And I said, what is that? Where, I mean, I know where they're going, but they're just walking out. And Divine Mother said, people are free to come and go as they want. And I said, but there's such a stigma about committing suicide and being told, if you commit suicide, you're going to go to hell. And Divine Mother said, that's just fear talking. And
Wow.
yeah. And she said, it is their choice to stay and live or be done. Be done. And someone, and I don't think it's you, Sue, but somebody that I've spoken to a lot recently has said every death is a suicide.
It's
Is
Brian. Yeah,
is
it's Abraham.
okay. And I think that's alluding to, we are participants. We have some say on a soul level. We
Right.
have some say in the timing of things.
Yes. And I think, and I'm glad you preface it on a soul level, because it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go walk in front of a bus or something. No, it's just, you know, my soul agrees that I'm gonna be looking that way as the bus comes by, whatever. Yeah.
Well, and then it was interesting too, because as I'm looking at all of these folks climbing out of the river of life, and I turned around and I said, well, who's going to be left? And what I was told was folks that are vibrating at a high vibrational level
Mhm.
and folks that are vibrating at a very low vibrational level will be left. It's the folks in the middle
Mhm.
that don't have the understanding of the divine support, don't have the understanding or the skill sets of working with energy and the divine and any other ways to have the skill sets to survive here on the planet. Because I think it's getting harder and harder for folks to stay on this planet. It's hard work to be here on this planet right now. I just thought it was fascinating. The folks in the middle that don't have the skill sets. And so then I said, so what's our role as light workers in that? And they said to shine even brighter, to help raise awareness of spiritual and energetic concepts, to help folks build their skill sets so they can feel more comfortable staying here. I just thought it was a fascinating concept. What's your thought on
It is, it's very fascinating, and I have heard that there's still a lot of people that are planning on leaving soon. But I have, and it had to do with awakening, where people are, but I hadn't heard it put that way. And I find it very interesting, because if you think about it, maybe the people in the middle, they think they know enough, but they really don't. And so it's like, I don't want to say, oh, I'm done, but on some level, but the people that are at the lower vibration many times are the most open to, hey, I need some help here, and I'm not sure where to turn. And it seems like, you have an idea of how to help me. So it actually kind of makes sense in a weird, in a weird kind
In
of
a weird
way.
kind of way, right?
But I also hadn't heard anything about that suicide, and that, when you said that, it's like, wow, that it is, because we're here of our own free will. And they say that if you commit suicide, you are going to hell. And it's like, wow, if that isn't true, because we really do have, it's like, you know what, I can't take it anymore. So I want to opt out so I can go through some more spiritual learning on the other side and then come back. I'll come back. And very interesting. Yeah, both of those I had heard.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. And I'm hoping, I mean, I know that we're on Facebook, but I'm not seeing any messages from friends coming up on Restream. Let me just double check on Facebook to make sure that there's no messages there that I'm not able to see.
Well, and the other thing that you were saying about, you saw this person in their like 6 months before they crossed.
Yeah.
That also makes sense to me, because I feel that there's a lot of times people are planning, because on some level, not on a conscious level, but on some level, they know that their time is getting closer. So they are preparing, because there's a lot of things that, maybe they need to contact different people, or they're getting things in order from the 3D world, just because, there's a lot of craziness after somebody crosses that needs to be taken care of. So that, because I see that with people, I have seen that with people that I know. I have seen that with people that I have talked with that had somebody transition, and it's like, oh yeah, looking back, you could see that they were planning. They were getting things in order. They were, cleaning out their house. So there's, nothing left except the things with the little post-its for who it's going to. But yeah, just getting things in order.
Yeah, it is really fascinating. I think that push me, pull you of I see where this really might be heading in my case, but that's really not what I want. So I'm going to keep living while I can, and knowing that this could be hanging out there. Yeah, it's a funny place to be.
Yeah. And even my brother that, that I said, yeah, he went up, just blew up into the stars. And I don't think he did that on purpose, but I'm sure that he had a lot of things yes, he did, because I think there was a couple of years, 6 months to a couple of years, that he had my other brother that lived near him, and they were getting a lot of things in order. And it was, I want to say maybe 3 years before that, he had gone back to Wisconsin and seen a lot of people that he hadn't seen in a long time.
Interesting.
So he was, even though, it took him a little bit longer, it's like, yeah, he was definitely on that track.
Well, really, if you think about it, shouldn't we all be on that track? Because none of us have any idea, really, sort of, when we're going to go. So does it ever make sense to leave much unfinished?
I agree with that. I think of 3D, like if I were to leave today, I feel sorry for the person that would have to come figure out all my stuff, because I really don't have a lot of, and I think people that are probably I'm guessing, but people that are married and have kids, they are much better at taking care of things because they want to make sure that their kids, I don't have kids. I'm not married and I have two adult brothers. And I don't have any nieces and nephews that, I mean, so it's like, but yes, you are correct. And I think that's the 3D part of it, but the other piece of it is making sure that the people that are important to you, that you let them know that they are important to you. Making sure and have contact with those people that, oh, I haven't talked to them in a long time. And if you're feeling drawn to, give them a call. Because maybe they're the ones that are going to be leaving soon. Maybe you're the one that's going to be leaving soon.
Right. Right. We just don't know.
Right.
So I know we've got some friends that are watching with us. If you would like to hear from a loved one who has transitioned over, please put their name in the comments section and we'll read into their energy for a message. Yeah. Well, we've had a death in our family. My husband is at a funeral as we speak. And, it just seems so unfair that some families just get hit with tragedy after tragedy and not feeling sorry for ourselves at all. It's really an extended family member, but they had 2 deaths of cancer within 6 months. It's just like, boom, you just wonder, what's that about?
Yeah. Well, and even looking back at 9/11, horrific event. And it wasn't through, it wasn't due to cancer. However, that was a point in mankind, in the world, where there was the level of compassion raised the consciousness of the world. Because it was an event, and I'm getting chills. It was an event that everybody around the world saw it. So it, hearts went out and people went out and help went out. So the level of compassion on the entire consciousness raised due to that. So, maybe there's something on that level that's happening right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. So much we don't really understand, isn't there?
Right. And we might not ever. We might, when we are full spirit, or we might not ever know. It's like, and that's a part where we have to be okay with that. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Okay. I don't have all the answers. Darn.
Right. An interesting thing, I've got a loved one who is so physically wrecked up and then emotionally as well that she is done. She's just like done. And she's not that old to be making that decision. But she has told me, quite frankly, she said, I don't want to commit suicide, but I'm not going to do anything to prolong my life either. And she just recently purchased 2 books on transitioning and, what it's like, kind of thing. I know that reading for her is difficult because of her physical issues. And so I had found another book also about angelic support during the transition process. And we're going to have book time. And I'm going to read to her these spiritual and energetic concepts about transitioning and walk through that with her, because that would bring her the most support right now, to have somebody to talk to about those things. And I was just thinking, you know, Sue, what other things can we do to really support somebody who is facing the end of their life? Any thoughts come to mind for you?
Well, I think it's being open and being comfortable, being able to talk to people about it, because I'll use my neighbor as an example, because there were times when it was just he and I. And so I was able to have a little bit more candid conversations than I felt he was willing to have around family or friends or, you know, any of that. And because I think death, it has the connotations that it's depending on people's belief. You know, some people believe when I die, I'm gonna go on the ground and, you know, and that's that. And some people believe I'm gonna live forever, I'm gonna be in spirit, and that's that. Some people believe I'm gonna go back to spirit, you know, and come back and so there's all different and everywhere in between. But because it's behind that door and we can't see beyond that door, we really don't know. So having conversations about, well, this is what some people have experienced, you know, people that have had near-death experiences, or people that have connected with loved ones that are on the other side. It's like, oh, so what was it like, you know, going through that door? So having the conversations, I think, is the best that we can do. It's what we can offer. I mean, I really don't know what else we can offer other than having the conversations and listening. You know, don't poo-poo anything. It's like, oh no, you're gonna live forever. It's like, you know, just be open. And sometimes that is difficult. And I know that you are coming from such a spiritual place and you're able to see a lot more than a lot of people. But being loving and having that conversation and supporting them where they are.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, supporting them where they are.
Well, and they may not even know how you can best support them either. Because I was going to say, ask them, how can I best support you? They may not even have any idea.
No, no. Because I remember just a short conversation with the neighbor where he's saying, well, this person wants this, and this person wants this, and this person wants this. And I just looked at him, said, what do you want? I said, and it's not for you to answer me. I said, it's for, what do you want? So, you know, and so asking them questions where it truly is, it's not that you're trying to get to what it is that they're thinking, but it's allowing themselves to, oh, I don't know what that really means. And so I just need to, you know, meditate on it or think about it or whatever, but it just gives them, huh. Yeah.
Well, and I think coming at it from a place of no judgment. Because I'm thinking for somebody to get to that point where they can say, I'd prefer to be out of here. You know, I want to do whatever I can to be out. That took a lot of emotional energy. That took a lot of thinking things through. I don't think people come up with that decision lightly. So to turn around and judge them and tell them that they're wrong or bad for coming up with that idea may not be the most loving and productive communication you might have.
Yeah, and it's sometimes, you know, I listen to a lot of documentaries where it's on health things. And of course I'm listening to one right now, and part of I can feel the people that have made breakthroughs, or all of a sudden they hear this or find this or whatever. But they've had, some of them, so many health issues for so long in their life, they just get to a point where, is this what life is all about? For me to take 20 pills every single, 20 pills this morning and 20 pills this afternoon, and I can't get out of my bed, and I have, this one woman, she had, I think it was psoriasis from the day she was born. And she was in her 50s, and she didn't, I mean, some of the scenarios that she was saying, saran wrap herself in something or something at night. And it's like, the question has to come up. It's like, who wants to live like that? So, but I think going back to what you were talking about with the lower level and the, I don't want to say lower level, but the people that are less awakened, and the people that are a higher vibration, more awakened. And it truly is, you get to a point where I can't do this on my own, and I'm done. God, help me. And then all of a sudden you see, oh, Enlightened World Network, what is this about? Oh, there's a really cool meditation, and it's something that, it's a lifeline that they didn't realize was there because they weren't seeing it before. Oh, and I got chills on that, man. It's like a lifeline. Enlightened World is a lifeline.
Oh, I like that. I like the sound of that. Something that they just whispered in my ear is addictions or other things that people do, consciously or not, that limit their time here in a body. And the victims, the true victims of that, the ones that love them. And to me, that's along the lines of the person with a medical issue that won't treat it. It's like the diabetic that is thinking, I'm not checking my sugars, I'm not doing any stuff. And drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all of that. And those activities, those behaviors that just sort of pull away from your lifeline little by little. But those that are standing on the sideline, loving you, wanting you to be around because they love you. And to me, that's really the biggest victims in all of that. But I don't know, it's just interesting that they just whispered it in my ear, Sue. So I think we're supposed to just have conversation about that for just a minute. Any thoughts on addictions or the slow drip towards death,
Addiction feels to me like it is a way to block out you allowing love in. So I'm addicted to drugs, so I can't feel the love that you are trying to share. And I feel like it has more to do with not allowing love in and not feeling like you're enough. Because really, you think about any kind of addiction, doesn't matter what it is, it's a numbing. So the numbing is taking away your ability to feel, to allow, to accept, to have compassion, sometimes even empathy, especially for yourself, but it's blocking all of that. It's like, no, I don't want to feel it. And sometimes it's blocking pain, but again, the pain is blocking Because once the pain gets through, once people get through the pain, they can feel some of the love, even though the pain might still be there. But the stories that about the pain don't have the same effect. So I think the addiction really has to do with they're not allowing themselves the acceptance, the love. And I think you know, people standing on the sidelines, I do think that that's a way to help them, but they also have to make it on their own. They have to get through it on their own. You can't stop taking pills for somebody or stop taking that next drink of alcohol or, you know, whatever it is. You can't be the one to do it for them. They have to do it themselves. And sometimes accepting it, it's like, okay, you know what, you're on your path. And even getting to the point where I can't support you in that. I still love you, but I can't support you taking that next drink.
Yes, yes. And some switch got flipped because now we've got a number of folks on here with us, Sue. We're going to start with Tessa. Tessa would love to hear a message from her dad. The name is Bill, and in parentheses, George. So maybe George was the given name and Bill was the name they called him, or
Yeah.
So Tessa.
Well, that's kind of funny because, you know, whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I always have to check to see what time it is. 3:12, which is my dad's birthday.
That's your dad.
It's like, thanks, Dad, for waking me up. All right, let me see. Let me see what we got. Oop, feel our connection. Oh, love this. I kind of feel there's something with the telephone. I don't know why. I mean, telephones help us connect, yes, but it feels like there's so the words that are coming to me is you're only a phone call away, but really it's not even that. It's like they are always here. You know, we actually do have to, if I want to talk to Ruth, I got to pick up the phone and call her or text her or something. And the connection that we have with our loved ones isn't that. It's just they're here. And the connection, I feel like there's a lot of things that maybe he was a pilot with all the planes going over today. But I feel like the connection is stronger than you think. And it's when you recognize it, when you notice something, to recognize it. And I almost feel like it's like, thank you, Dad. I see that. I see you. It's like when the neighbor's dog comes, and even though I might not be outside, she stands at the fence, and it's like, I see you. I feel your connection. And I think that's going that extra step and consciously saying it out loud or saying those words within your head, but the connection is really strong and it's always there. And I think most of it is you noticing more and more and more and more.
Her dad worked for the telephone company.
That is so funny. Okay, we get the connection with the phone.
That's funny. So Tessa, what I got with your dad, I'm getting like laughing practical joker. And the first thing that I saw was like a ball being thrown, like not to hurt you, but a ball being thrown at you and then it like exploding, not with paint, but something kind of like with paint. And then he would laugh first and then you would laugh. And what I kept seeing, like I saw three different things where he would do something and then he would get the biggest kick out of it. And then you would eventually laugh about it too. But it was sort of like a don't take yourself so seriously kind of thing. I don't know how to describe that, but just, and it wasn't laughing at your expense, but it was laughing at what he did that then was a little bit at your expense, but it was so you would laugh and have fun with it too. But definitely laughter and practical joker was the energy that I was getting. Very light, but fun.
I can totally see that too. It's like almost like he tosses something at her and then he looks away.
Right, right. Yeah. Just coming across fun and funny. Okay, she said, oh yes, he loved to laugh and joke, very lighthearted. Okay. Oh, coming through loud and clear.
That's funny.
That's fun, Tessa. Thank you for being here. Andrea says, hello, ladies. Judith says, hello from Oregon. Okay. Shiraz is saying hello. Okay, Judith Albee is saying, I would love a message from my dad, Vic. It's Father's Day today.
It is?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say it is, but yeah, you're right. That thought actually went through my mind, but it's like, oh man. Yes, it is. Right, let's see what we get. Invite me into your dreams. So I don't know if you were on at the very beginning, Miss Judith, but we were talking about something that you can do is invite them into your dreams. If you have those thoughts or bring up, think about a memory a fun time that you spent just as you're drifting off to sleep, and see if you get a dream. And I almost feel like there are times when he pops into your dreams and you might not remember them. So it's another set the intention that you'll remember, but I feel like so what's coming to me is a long time ago, a friend of mine told me about her dad who had passed years before that. He came in and he was like peeking into the ceiling of whatever room she was in. And that's all he did is he peeked in and then he left. And it's like, oh my gosh, that was a visitation dream. And I feel like, there might be these little cameos that your dad pops into your dreams and you might not all of a sudden it's like you're telling somebody about a dream and it's like, oh my gosh, my dad was there. It feels like that, but invite him. Invite him.
So Judith, what I got with your dad, the first thing I got was the smell of delicious food. Like, it might have been pasta with like a really heavy, delicious sauce on it. So I got the pasta or the smells of it. And then I got the wine, and then I got the cigar. And what I was getting from your dad was this true love of culinary things, but it was like treating himself, like he was enjoying the food and the drink so much. And then he would invite people in and entertain, mostly because he loved this opulent food and loved to share that with other folks. So lots of the love of the finer things in life and wanting to share that with other folks. Anything on that, Sue?
No, other than, if you have a dream about a lot of food and smelling it, just, even if you didn't see your dad, but if you might have, what Ruth was just saying, it's like, Oh yeah, that's totally a dad thing.
Yeah, good food. Go have a good meal and toast your dad. Yes. So Shiraz said, I loved my grandmother, Roshan. She passed on in 2006. Can I have a message from her?
Mm. I'm seeing all kinds of flowers as the card falls in my lap. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think I'm just seeing it break flowers. Um, be in this present moment. What's really interesting with seeing the flowers and then all of a sudden this card coming up. I haven't noticed the scent of the citrus blooms today until just now. And they've been, I mean, it's so strong. It just comes in my house, even at night. It's like, oh, it's so wonderful. This is a heavenly time in Sun City. But so being in the present moment and noticing what it is that is going on right now. Are you feeling your connection with her? Are you noticing a flower either in your mind's eye or out of the corner of your eye? Or are you, seeing something that reminds you of her? It's like all of those things. And sometimes if we aren't in our bodies, if we aren't in this moment, noticing, maybe it's the call of that bird. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like all of a sudden it started. And then my chimes, my indoor chimes started going off. So notice those things. But if you aren't in this present moment, if you're always, thinking about tomorrow or worried about what happened, you ain't in the moment. So be in this moment.
Beautiful, Sue. And I'm gonna piggyback on yours. I absolutely saw a flower, but it was you as a little girl and your grandmother putting a flower behind here in your ear, and she kissed you on the other cheek. And you're saying be present in the moment. And what I'm seeing with your grandmother is that she was absolutely adoring you. And keep in mind, doesn't even mean that you were in the same vicinity as her. She could have been living somewhere else, but she was loving you so profoundly from where she was in energetic spirit form. So maybe you were with her in person, maybe you weren't. She adored you. But she, at that moment that I'm seeing her, was not so much staying in the present moment, because while she was adoring you as young and darling as you were, she was knowing in her heart of heart she would not be seeing you when you were older. So she was not present. She was partly present in the moment and partly aware of what she was going to be missing by not being able to be with you. There's so much love from your grandmother to you. It's beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if there was any messages. She loved flowers and plants, especially roses. And her grandfather called her Rose.
Oh.
And she said she always lived with her until she got married at 38. She adored you. Adored you. Yes.
No, it's interesting when you're saying that too, Ruth, that as a grandmother, especially grandmothers, where they're doting on their kids, they're telling their friends about what a great grandkid they have because they just did this or they did that. And you think about all of that is really the loving that goes into it that you might not even think about. It's like the doting grandmother, even though she might not be there, she's telling her friends all about the things that you just did. And so that's very cool. I had never thought of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can love deeper from far away than sometimes you can up close.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to love from far away because you don't have to get involved in all the day-to-day stuff or the teenage angst or any of that other stuff. So let's see. Judith Albee said that he loved food and he enjoyed cooking. I love how people's personalities and preferences come through in these readings. It's really cool. Judith was only 10 when her dad passed. She said, my dad was a really spiritual guy. He belonged to the Theosophical, I can't even say it, Theosophical Society, teaching her about different religions. Cool. Well, and he's calling in his ability to communicate with you. So, all right. And Shiraz said she loved her like a mother, more than her mother. Yepers, she adored you. Absolutely. Okay, we've got time. We're going to finish these two, and then we're going to be done. We're going to do Andrea, Greg, and then Prachetta. So, Andrea Gregg is hoping to hear from her mother. And mom's name was Regina.
Regina, that's a pretty name, Regina.
You don't hear it much these days.
It feels Italian. I don't know if it is, but it feels Italian. I have no idea though. Hold my hand. I see this. It's an image of a little girl sneaking her hand into her mom's hand. You know, walking in either in a crowd or just down the street, but it's like the connection, especially little kids, especially, you know, it's like there's a comfort that comes from holding their mom's hand or their dad's hand. And it feels like there's a comfort that comes to you at different times, and you might feel something on your hand even, but I feel like there's times where all of a sudden you feel this comfort, this love, this safety. And it's when your mom is really close. Because there might be something going on in your life, but then all of a sudden you feel there's an overwhelming sense of calm and safety and love. And I think that that's your mom. And she might be holding your hand, or she might be putting her hand on your shoulder, or wrapping her arm around you. But I feel like it truly is something that comes over you, and you might find yourself having a sigh, and just like, because you feel that comfort. So, yeah, I like it. I like it.
So, Andrea, what I was shown was a white flower, not exactly a rose, not exactly a magnolia, not exactly a, what are the, it starts with a G and they smell gardenia, not exactly a gardenia, but almost kind of a combo of the three. And what I love is that the ethereal realm is not limited to our flowers. They're not limited to our colors, our flowers, any of that. But this flower that they showed me a glass, and I thought it was a glass of white wine, and they said, no, it's not wine, but they put this flower in the wine glass. And it was her love of, yes, maybe flowers, whatever, but I think she's coming to you through smells. And I asked, does it always smell like a flower? And they said no. But look for the smells. Not that that makes any sense, but be aware of smells, because I believe she's coming to you through smells.
Yeah. And the word with smell is essence that I'm hearing.
Nice. And you got to pay attention because they will come really quickly and go really quickly.
Mhm.
So catch it, and feel
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, because right now I don't smell a citrus. And I have 4 trees that are blooming, so
You should be able to smell that.
you would think.
Let's see if there were other messages here. Pritchetta and her sweet mama who died March 14, 2020.
Just a couple days, 2 days after my dad
Mm.
with March 12th. He passed the water. Long time ago. Excuse me. Several on the floor, so. Not
So
just one.
she's requesting for a message and guidance. Normally, Pritchetta doesn't ask for guidance.
Right, let's see.
Hmm.
There is a healing of our hearts. Oh, wow. That feels like guidance right there. So what it feels like, and my left hand just instantly went to my high heart area. But it feels like almost there's a melding of the hearts, and it's not the hearts, it's a melding of the love. And really feeling that, feeling into the love, not necessarily, well, here's a memory. And it might have to start that way, but really feeling that the essence of the love connection. And in doing so, the more you do that, and I do even feel like feeling this as you're drifting off to sleep, going into that loving meld. I don't know how else to explain it. There will definitely be a healing of the hearts, and it's your heart that's being healed because of the grief that you feel. But doing that every single night, just putting your hand on your high heart and just feeling that love connection, feeling the essence of the love. What does it feel like? And allow yourself to drift off to sleep. Wow.
Yeah, I can feel that, Sue.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, Pritchetta, this is interesting. Normally, your mother will come in with like a marigold goldish color. And today, that wasn't it at all. Today, it was emerald green. And to me, emerald green is Archangel Raphael and his healing of our hearts. And what I'm seeing as far as guidance goes, for you to literally wrap yourself in, like, go get a fuzzy, I know it's hot there, go get like a fuzzy green, emerald green jacket or blanket. And with Sue's thinking there, as you go to sleep, just wrap just for a few minutes in that beautiful green, asking Archangel Raphael to just hold you and work with the high heart space, as Sue was talking about. There is such love and healing of the heart. Bring in Archangel Raphael for that. Soak in emerald green. Wear emerald jewelry. And then I was also wondering, is there a holiday? And because I know y'all have lots of holidays over in India, Is there a holiday where one of the predominant colors is that emerald green? Just curious. So we just had a couple of other folks joining us. Sue, I know we need to be finished up. Sophia and Jamie, we invite you to join us. We come here once a month, and it's typically the second Monday of every month. And the time fluctuates a little bit. I think this is a better time, this afternoon time, but please come back. Sophia, it's nice to see you here with us again. And Jamie, welcome. So Sue Broome, thank you so much for being here today. And all our friends, thank you for being here with us. So Sue, anything else you want to finish up with?
Archangel Raphael, you can also, I have used this with different healing and people I recommended, ask him to have your sheets be emerald green, so your line on it. So just call in his energy and that, yep, the emerald green, absolutely. But yeah, do it as a, like a sleeping pad or the sheets, whichever is whatever works for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm grateful. There was quite a few people, and April 8th is the next day, which also April 8th is the big solar eclipse that's going across the United States. So that's the next time we're together to do this.
Yeah, I love that. And Sophia said just being on with us, she got a clear message. Yay.
Awesome.
And actually, Archangel Raphael, perfect. And Perchetta said they do have the Festival of Colors coming up. She said on March 25th, green is a favorite color of a lot of folks. That's when the festival is. So yeah, your mother doesn't miss a beat. She really doesn't. Yeah. And Jamie is worried about her daughter. Yeah. Okay. So Jamie, so her daughter is involved with a 22-year-old. The guy sells drugs. She thinks he took her out of state. So Jamie, ask the angels to be with her. Ask Archangel Michael to be with her. Ask Gabriel, ask Raphael. Have them bring in their warriors and just surround her in angelic light and protection. Okay. Really, that's the best way we can help somebody who we're fearful for, and try to not sit in a space of fear. Try to envision her as strong and holding her own and surrounded by the angels, and throw in a couple of angelic dragons while you're at it for mental clarity and strength. Okay. Yep. Sue, anything?
Her personal guardian angels as well.
Yep.
Which they're always there, but yeah, tell them, hey, be a little bit louder. Be a little bit louder, mama bear. You can be a mama bear always. But yeah, all the angels, Ruth said, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. And Sophia, yes, bringing in the angelic gem protection, absolutely. Yay. You guys are great. I'm so glad you were with us today. And be watching for us next in what, April 8th, you said?
April 8th.
Hi. Be watching.
Yay.
We'd love to have you back. So friends, thank you for being here. Take good care. God bless. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Sue.